Are you a Canadian retiree wondering how much you'll actually receive from CPP in 2026? Or maybe you're planning for retirement and trying to figure out what to expect? Well, you're in the right place, because today I'm breaking down everything you need to know about the fresh 2026 CPP update, including that maximum monthly payment of $1,507 and exactly how you can check what your payment will be. Before we dive in, let me tell you something important. Most Canadians don't actually receive the maximum CPP amount, and there are specific reasons why. Understanding these reasons and knowing where you stand can make a massive difference in your retirement planning. So stick with me until the end, because I'm also going to show you the exact steps to check your personal CPP statement online. Let's start with the big number everyone's talking about. The maximum monthly CPP payment for 2026 is set at $507. Now, that's a significant jump from previous years, and it reflects the annual adjustments made to account for inflation and wage growth in Canada. But here's what you need to understand right away. This is the maximum amount, meaning this is what someone who has contributed the absolute maximum to CPP throughout their entire working career would receive if they start taking CPP at age 65. The reality is that very few Canadians actually qualify for this maximum amount. According to recent statistics, the average CPP retirement pension is actually much lower, sitting somewhere around $815 to $850 per month. That's almost half of the maximum amount. So why is there such a big gap between the maximum and what most people actually receive? The answer lies in how CPP contributions and benefits are calculated. Your CPP retirement pension is based on several key factors. First, how much you've contributed to CPP throughout your working years. Second, how long you've been contributing. And third, at what age you decide to start receiving your benefits. Let me break each of these down for you. When it comes to contributions, CPP operates on a pretty straightforward principle. The more you earn and contribute over your working life, the more you'll receive in retirement. But there's a ceiling to this. Every year, there's something called the Year's Maximum Pensionable Earnings, or YMPE. For 2026, this figure has been adjusted upward, and you only pay CPP contributions on earnings up to this maximum amount. If you've consistently earned at or above the YMPE throughout your career and made maximum contributions, you're on track for that higher CPP payment. However, many Canadians have gaps in their contribution history. Maybe you took time off to raise children, went back to school, had periods of unemployment, or worked part-time for several years. All of these situations can reduce your final CPP amount. The good news is that CPP has some built-in provisions to help with this, like the child-rearing dropout provision and the general dropout provision, which can exclude some of your lowest-earning years from the calculation. Now let's talk about the age factor, because this is where things get really interesting. The standard age to start receiving CPP is 65. That's when you'd get 100% of whatever you've qualified for based on your contributions. But CPP gives you flexibility. You can start taking it as early as age 60 or as late as age 70. If you start taking CPP before age 65, your payments are reduced by 0.6% for each month before your 65th birthday. That means if you start at age 60, you're looking at a 36% reduction in your monthly payment for the rest of your life. On the flip side, if you delay taking CPP past age 65, your payments increase by 0.7% for each month you wait, up to age 70. That's an increase of up to 42% if you wait until 70. So someone who would get $1,000 per month at age 65 could get $1,220 per month if they wait until 70. This decision about when to start taking CPP is one of the most important retirement choices you'll make, and it's not just about the math. It depends on your health, your other sources of retirement income, whether you're still working, and your overall financial situation. Some people need the money at 60 and can't afford to wait. Others have enough saved up that they can delay CPP and enjoy those higher payments later. Here's something else that's changed in recent years that affects your 2026 CPP. The CPP enhancement that started being phased in back in 2019 continues to build. This enhancement is designed to replace more of your pre-retirement income, eventually moving from replacing about 1/4 of your earnings to about 1/3. But here's the catch. You need to have contributed during the enhancement period to benefit from it fully. If you're retiring in 2026, you might only see a partial benefit from the enhancement, depending on when you started contributing under the new rules. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine two people, both retiring in 2026 at age 65. Person A worked full-time their entire career from age 25 to 65, always earning at or above the maximum pensionable earnings. They would be looking at something close to that $1,507 maximum payment. Person B had a more typical career. They worked full-time most years, but had some years earning below the maximum, took 2 years off when their children were young, and had a few years of part-time work. Person B might receive somewhere around $900 to $1,000 per month, still a decent amount, but significantly less than the maximum. Now, you might be wondering about inflation and whether your CPP will keep up with rising costs. The good news is that CPP is indexed to inflation. Every January, CPP payments are adjusted based on the Consumer Price Index. This means your purchasing power is protected over time. If inflation is 3%, your CPP payment goes up by 3% the following January. This is one of the major advantages of CPP over personal savings, which don't come with this automatic inflation protection. Let's talk taxes for a moment because this is something that catches people off guard. Your CPP payments are taxable income. The government doesn't automatically deduct tax from your CPP unless you request it, which means you might need to make quarterly tax installments if CPP is your only income source or if you have other income that isn't having tax deducted. Understanding the tax implications helps you plan your retirement budget more accurately. Something else that's important to understand is the survivor and disability benefits within CPP. If you're receiving CPP and you pass away, your spouse or common law partner may be eligible for a survivor's pension, which is a percentage of your CPP benefit. There are also disability benefits available through CPP if you become disabled before retirement age and have made enough contributions. These additional benefits make CPP more than just a retirement program. So now you're probably wondering, how do I find out what my CPP payment will be? This is the part where I show you exactly how to check your personalized estimate. The easiest and most accurate way is through your My Service Canada account. If you don't have one yet, don't worry. Setting it up is straightforward, and I'll walk you through the process. First, go to the Service Canada website and look for My Service Canada account. You can sign in using your bank's online credentials if your bank participates in the government's Sign-In Partner program. Most major Canadian banks are partners, so chances are you can use your existing online banking login. Alternatively, you can register directly with a username and password, though you'll need to verify your identity through the mail, which takes a bit longer. Once you're logged in, look for the section called Canadian Pension Plan. Here you'll find your CPP Statement of Contributions. This document is incredibly valuable. It shows you your entire contribution history year by year, tells you how many months you've contributed, and, most importantly, gives you an estimate of what your CPP retirement pension would be at different ages. The statement will show you 3 key estimates: what you'd receive if you start at age 60, what you'd receive at the standard age of 65, and what you'd receive if you wait until age 70. These estimates are based on your actual contribution history plus some assumptions about your future contributions if you're still working. Make sure to review your contribution history carefully. If you notice any gaps or errors, you can contact Service Canada to have them corrected. Another useful feature in your My Service Canada account is the CPP Retirement Pension Calculator. This tool lets you play around with different scenarios. You can adjust when you plan to retire, estimate your future earnings, and see how different choices affect your CPP amount. This kind of planning tool is invaluable when you're making decisions about when to retire and when to start taking CPP. If you're not comfortable with online tools or don't have internet access, you can also request a paper copy of your CPP Statement of Contributions by calling Service Canada directly or visiting a Service Canada office in person. They're usually quite helpful and can walk you through understanding your statement. Here's a pro tip that many people don't know about. If you've lived or worked in countries that have Social Security agreements with Canada, you might be able to combine your periods of contribution to qualify for benefits from both countries. Canada has agreements with dozens of countries, and this can make a significant difference in your retirement income, especially if you've split your working years between Canada and another country. Now, let's talk strategy for a moment. Knowing your CPP estimate helps you make better decisions about your overall retirement plan. If you're going to receive a lower CPP amount, you'll need to compensate with more RRSP savings, a larger pension from work, or other investments. If you're on track for a healthy CPP payment, you might have more flexibility in your other retirement planning. One strategy some people use is coordinating their CPP start date with their other retirement income. For example, if you have a workplace pension or significant RRSP savings, you might choose to use those first and delay CPP until age 70 to get that maximum boost. The math on this can be complex, and it might make sense to talk to a financial advisor about your specific situation. Another thing to consider is that if you're still working while receiving CPP, you can actually make additional contributions that will increase your benefit through something called post-retirement benefit. Between ages 60 and 65, you must continue contributing to CPP if you're working and receiving CPP. Between 65 and 70, you can choose whether to keep contributing. These additional contributions result in small increases to your CPP payment each year. Looking ahead at the 2026 updates specifically, the increase to $1,507 maximum reflects the continued strength of the CPP program. This program is designed to be sustainable for generations, backed by the CPP Investment Board, which manages billions in assets. When you're planning your retirement, you can count on CPP being there, which is more than can be said for some private pension plans. Understanding your CPP is just one part of retirement planning, but it's a crucial one. For most Canadians, CPP, along with old age security, forms the foundation of retirement income. Building on top of that foundation with your own savings and workplace pensions creates a more secure retirement. So here's what I want you to do after watching this video. First, set up your My Service Canada account if you haven't already. Second, review your CPP Statement of Contributions to understand where you stand. Third, think about when you want to start taking CPP based on your personal situation, not just what everyone else is doing. And fourth, make sure CPP is integrated into your overall retirement plan. The fresh 2026 CPP update with that $1,507 maximum is great news for Canadians who have maximized their contributions over the years. Even if you're not getting the maximum, CPP still represents a valuable, secure, inflation-protected stream of income in retirement. The key is understanding what you're entitled to and planning accordingly. Don't leave money on the table by not understanding your benefits or by making uninformed decisions about when to start receiving CPP. Take control of your retirement planning today by checking your CPP statement and understanding exactly what you can expect. Your future self will thank you for the time you invest in understanding this crucial benefit today. Thanks for watching, and here's to a secure and comfortable retirement for all of us.